Tyson, and you know it. You hit me, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you.
I'm Hurricane Peter McNeely from Medfield, Mass. On Saturday night, watch me kick Tyson's ass.
From the moment the bell rang, something primal stirred inside Mike Tyson, an energy that didn't just belong to a fighter, but to a creature engineered by violence, sharpened by trauma, and unleashed with one purpose: punishment. And across from him stood Mitch Green, a man whose arrogance had fermented into a dangerous kind of delusion. Green had strutted and snarled before the fight, puffing his chest out like a street enforcer who believed his own mythology. "You hit me, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you," he vowed, the words hissed through clenched teeth. He announced his name like he was signing a threat letter. "My last name is Green. It's a sign. It's a Michelle Tyson. You're mine." To Green, this was more than a match. It was a chance to impose his ego on the man the world was beginning to call invincible. But Tyson's eyes that night were not the eyes of a man uncertain, nor the eyes of someone intimidated. They were eyes carrying the quiet hunger of a predator who has just spotted a wounded animal limping into its territory. When the opening bell finally cut through the noise of the crowd, Tyson erupted forward with the silent precision of a hunting cat. His feet shifted not with hesitation, but with inevitability. Green had crossed a line, and Tyson had stepped into the ring ready to collect a debt. Blow after blow rained down with a merciless rhythm, turning Green's expressions of bravado into grimaces of panic. Tyson didn't just attack, he stalked, circling his prey, dismantling him piece by piece. His punches didn't simply land, they collided like chunks of steel fired from a cannon, smashing into Green's face until it resembled less a human opponent and more a canvas Tyson was violently reshaping. Referee warnings, crowd reactions, Green's attempts to hold and clinch, none of it mattered. Tyson bore through it all with the cold focus of an executioner, and by the time the final round approached, Green's body had surrendered even if his twisted pride refused to admit it. But Mitch Green wasn't finished. At least, not in his own mind. 2 years after being broken under the lights of HBO, the gang leader decided to hunt Tyson down on his own turf. Not in a ring. Not under rules. On the street. Green confronted him outside a clothing store, a moment he believed would be his triumphant revenge. Instead, Tyson reacted like a soldier startled in the trenches, instinctively, instantly, and catastrophically for Green. In seconds, Tyson's fists found their target again, and Green's face once more became a memory of what happens when a man willingly stands in the path of a natural disaster. The myth of Mitch Green died that night in the flashing lights of police cruisers, while the legend of Tyson, Street King, Ring Monster, Unstoppable Force, deepened. And then came Peter McNeely, the Irish hurricane who mistook volume for power and delusion for destiny. McNeely strutted into the spotlight with the swagger of a pub brawler auditioning for Shakespeare. His threats sounded theatrical, ridiculous even. "When I wrap Mike Tyson in a cocoon of horror," he boasted, "he'll be singing with our friends down at the House of Blues." The audience could only laugh. McNeely wasn't known for technique or legacy. He was known for a mouth that worked far better than his jab. Perhaps that's what prison time does to a man like Tyson. It doesn't dull him, it turns him into carved granite. By the time he stepped back into the ring after 3 years away, he was prison-jacked. His body a collection of angles and coiled energy ready to tear into anyone foolish enough to test him. The bell rang. McNeely charged forward like he was trying to tackle a brick wall. The wall hit back. Within seconds, literally seconds, McNeely's body bounced off the canvas, the oxygen punched out of him as if Tyson had sucked the air from his lungs. He stumbled back to his feet, a stubborn reflex that sealed his fate. Tyson smelled blood. He saw weakness. And a man like Mike doesn't stop at the first blow when he recognizes a wounded animal in front of him. He unleashed a torrent of punches that sent McNeely flailing, staggering, collapsing. It became so violent that McNeely's own corner threw in the towel to save his life. The crowd roared as Tyson stood over the carnage, not merely victorious, but reborn. But Tyson's path was paved with challengers who believed they could do what dozens before them had failed to. Donovan "Razor" Ruddock was one of them, a fighter with dynamite in his fists and delusions of superiority simmering in his veins. Ruddock carried himself like a man chosen by fate to deliver the giant's fall. He sneered that Tyson had been knocked out by lesser men, insisting confidently that he knew the route to Mike's graveyard of failed champions. It didn't matter that killers like Holyfield and Bowe refused to share the ring with Ruddock. He believed he was different, special. Their collision became a storm of violence that shook the world of boxing. Ruddock shocked crowds by cracking Tyson early with a barrage of blows that made even Tyson blink. But Mike's reaction wasn't fear, it was fury. Pain woke something feral within him, and suddenly Tyson was no longer fighting to win, he was fighting to break. He pounded Ruddock with hooks that sounded like sledgehammers smashing oak. Ruddock, stubborn and fueled by his own ego, refused to fall easily, but Tyson had no intention of allowing him dignity. Each punch stripped another layer of arrogance from Razor Ruddock until the 7th round, when Tyson delivered a counterpunch that turned Ruddock's legs to water. When the referee finally stepped in, Tyson had dragged Ruddock out of the clouds of his self-created Olympus and slammed him into the underworld. But if there was one man whose arrogance struck Tyson personally, it was Larry Holmes. Holmes, the veteran, the tactician, the former champion who had once punished Tyson's idol, Muhammad Ali, in a cruel mismatch. Holmes had always known how to use words like weapons, and he aimed them squarely at Tyson. "I'm going down in history, not Mike Tyson," he scoffed. He mocked the younger fighter, dismissed his achievements, and acted as though experience alone could shield him from the storm he had willingly stepped into. When the fight began, Holmes tried to operate behind his jab, believing he could expose Mike's youth and aggression. But Tyson had something Holmes didn't: rage with purpose. Every promise Holmes had made to embarrass him echoed in Tyson's mind as fists cracked against Holmes's ribs and skull. In the 4th round, the inevitable happened. Tyson detonated a right hand that sent Holmes crashing to the mat. Holmes rose only to be destroyed again and again, until Tyson, enforcing the will of karma itself, hit him with a final combination so vicious that even the crowd fell silent, stunned by its brutality. Then came Tyrell Biggs, another giant who believed height and reach would neutralize destiny. Biggs mocked Tyson with an ease that bordered on arrogance. He thought his Olympic pedigree would protect him, that he could jab his way to glory. For the first round or two, he danced and tried to keep Tyson at bay. But arrogance is a dangerous shield. Biggs began to drop his guard, growing bold, and Tyson's patience evaporated. A single huge left hand cracked Biggs's world open, and from then on Biggs wasn't fighting for a win. He was fighting to stay conscious. Mike hit him again and again until Biggs fell, swallowed by darkness as Tyson walked away, unbothered, unbroken, unstoppable. The next to test Tyson's storm was Frank Bruno, the British powerhouse carved like a statue. He promised to knock Tyson out spectacularly, dismissing Tyson as a man whose time had passed. But illusions crumble quickly under pressure. Bruno landed early shots that shook Tyson slightly, giving him a brief moment of triumph. But all he had truly done was awaken something volcanic inside Iron Mike. Tyson surged back with punches that seemed to tear the air apart. Bruno's strength couldn't save him. His muscles couldn't shield him. Tyson's uppercuts ripped through his defenses, and when the towel finally flew from Bruno's corner, the giant lay helpless, the myth of his invincibility erased by Tyson's wrath. Tony Tubbs followed, boasting that he was one of the best heavyweights alive, better than Tyson. He used size and agility to frustrate Mike early, moving well for such a big man. But Tubbs, like so many before him, had forgotten the rule. Every minute Tyson is allowed to breathe is a minute you are borrowing time against your own health. Toward the end of the 2nd round, Tyson unleashed a left hook that detonated on Tubbs's temple, folding him like a collapsing wall. The referee didn't need to count long. The lesson was delivered. Then there was Tony Tucker, TNT, taller, bigger, undefeated, a man the world believed might finally break the myth of Iron Mike. Tucker fought bravely, firing heavy shots that rocked Tyson and even taunting him mid-fight. But Tyson didn't back down. He simply adjusted, found the pattern, and dug into Tucker with lethal precision. He chipped away at the giant until Tucker's fate was sealed not with a knockout, but with a unanimous declaration. Tyson was the undisputed champion of the world, the ruler in a kingdom where arrogance was punished and fear was currency. And that is the story this compilation of encounters reveals. The saga of men who thought they could intimidate the monster, outshout him, outmuscle him, or outsmart him. But time and again, they stepped into the cyclone, and time and again, Mike Tyson delivered their reckoning with fists forged in fire and destiny. If you want this rewritten with a stricter word count, a specific opening line like "the drama surrounding," or an added outro with a call to action for viewers, just tell me and I'll tailor it.